as many other jobs would, say like McDonald's or something like that. The hours aren't too bad. You have like say 3 days on and then 3 days off, so you'd be able to spend time with your family and have activities with your family if you want to do activities or have dinner. Another profession I wanted to take up is welding. It is an 18-month certification basic. Money is $40,000 to $100,000 a year, and benefits are usable knowledge. You learn more, and possible self-employment, so you won't have to take anything from like a higher hand or like a boss or whatever you want to call it. Civics, American government, I got a B. In this slide I talk about responsibility, rights versus privileges. So in the Constitution you have the rights to bear arms. It's not a privilege to bear arms, you have the right to bear arms. But if you are like pretty much just like being a maniac and say like throwing your weapon around or shooting people or something like that, that right can be taken away from you. But if you're doing it like safely, then you're able to have that right. Now privilege is like driving. So you don't really have a right to have that car or have that driver's license. You have a privilege because you earned that driver's license. You earned what you did to get this far. But if you're driving like, say, like a crazy maniac, then you're going to get that privilege taken away, and you're not going to be able to drive for maybe a while, or you never know. But going back to rights, simple. So say like a church meeting, or like say a gang was meeting and they're planning on something bad or something to do, something illegal. But if it's not peaceful, they can take that right away from you for assembling. So you wouldn't be able to assemble anymore because you were doing it illegally. But if you're doing it like a church, you know, just say like a meeting, or just like after school you're doing it with a school member or something, a teacher, then you could do it like, you could do that peacefully, easily, and you are able to keep that right. Another privilege is school. By going to school, you're able to learn a lot more. By staying in school, you're able to learn a lot more. But if you don't participate in school, you can be kicked out of that school and you can have that privilege taken away. Going on to the next slide. Consumer awareness. I did a project in education sense. So here you see planning with an arrow going into budgeting, and budgeting going into saving. So by planning, you're able to budget. By budgeting, you're able to save. By planning out your wants versus needs, so say your groceries or your rent or, you know, something like that. That's planning your needs out, and so you'll know how much you'll have to spend on your wants or how much you need to save up for something you want to get. Going into budgeting, again, it's pretty much just watch what you're spending. By watching what you're spending, you're able to know the cost of an item. You're able to pretty much, it's like being in the stock market. By watching the stock market after a while, you're able to pretty much know how it works exactly and what goes on, and you'll have the complete experience in that. And then by budgeting, you're able to save. By saving, you're able to build it into, say, something like, I don't know, your kids' college funds, or just dinner with your kids or family, just anything like that. But if you just get off track and stop saving because you have all these bills and you want this and you want that, then you're not really going to have too much of a savings for your kids. So being constant with savings, you're able to be responsible with the money you get, and you are able to just pretty much know how the world turns around, I guess. But here's a budgeting list that I made. At the top you can see 1, 2, and 3. These are the goals that I made. So one goal is secure employment at $8 an hour. Another goal is save at least 40% after needs. And then the third and last goal is complete paperwork and start school for college 2012 to 2013. Now this is a range between 7 months. Say I had an hour job, I would have around $1,280 a paycheck, and for a month. Taxes would be deducted, so I'd have around $1,024. But then expenses would be deducted, like rent, electricity, gas, water, trash, laundry, internet, cable, groceries, and maybe dining out if I want to go take a girl out or my wife out. And then public transportation, say like the bus, because I don't have a car, or say like I need some new clothes for a job interview, or anything like that, like holiday spending. You might want to save that money for Christmas or anything like that. And then the total expenses came up to be $795, and by deducting that I'll have $229 left over, and then by saving after all the needs that I have and have paid off, I'll take 91 out of that, and I'll have 137, around $140 left over. Science and earth science, I got a B, and biology, I got a C. Alright, this slide's about science and technology. Without science, there wouldn't be technology. Without technology, there wouldn't be science. Together, amazing things can happen. So when you look at science, without science, we wouldn't have outer space. We wouldn't know anything about outer space. We wouldn't know about other planets or anything like that. But without satellites being in the outer space, we wouldn't even be able to communicate with each other as we do today, through cell phones, through computers, just all that kind of technology. But back in the day, they used to have to write letters and send someone on like a horse. You know, it's just completely changed nowadays because technology is always changing. And going on to the next slide. Technology, computer info, and tech, I got a C. What do watermelons and technology have in common? So, when you go to a grocery store, do you buy that watermelon and have a contract with that watermelon? No, you don't have a contract with the watermelon, but you might get a contract with, like, say, a cell phone. But how long does it take for that watermelon to rot? Not too long, right? It takes maybe a week or something. Technology is constantly changing, so it's exactly the same. I mean, you look at these phones or these laptops, how long do you think they're going to rot out? How long do you think they're going to look like this? How long do you think... I mean, they're gonna change completely in just say like a year or so. They don't last longer than a year, and then they just start coming out with better and new things like 4G, 5G. You know, it just keeps getting better and better. But that's what watermelons and technology have in common. Fine arts, English literature, I got a C. So when you look at art, what is art to you? Art to me is sound, colors, movement, and painting. But art to you can be something completely different. So when you look at, say, these pictures, that might not be art to you, but when you look at, say, a book or just anything, that's art to you. Anything can be art to you or to someone. It's just everybody's own opinion. Here's a poem that I made for an art project, and I named it Why Try, and I'm going to read it to you guys real quick. Every time I fly by, I hear the angels cry. When I look at you and you look at me, sometimes I can see what I want to grow up to be. Even though I'm not your average Joe, sometimes I wonder what it's like to be so great. But then I start to feel your hate. I look at you again and wonder how we are still friends. I feel your heart turn upside down. Now I start to realize what brought me down. It was how you took my heart, then broke it apart. Now I'm sitting here picking up these pieces in the dark. And all I remember was that spark that you gave my heart. Now you're sitting here trying to pick me apart. Now when you look at that, you might have a total different perspective on it. So you might be thinking, like each one of you might be thinking something completely different. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because I'm going to let it be art. So your own opinion. Cultural awareness, world geography 1 and 2. I got B's in each of them. Modern U.S. history, I got a C. School culture. Jocks pretty much versus skaters. So when you look at a jock, their interests are more, or their activities are more sports, or you know, hanging out with just other jock friends that they have, or you know, just partying. Now, if you look at a skater, he's usually either skating around, or biking around, or partying, pretty much kind of doing the same thing, but not really. Now, when you look at a jock, they dress completely different. So say like Abercrombie shirt, and their shoes are say like Nike Shocks, or their hats are just not like flat bills like skater hats are. But when you look at a skater, they dress like baggy clothes, and their shoes are either usually flat-footed. The hats are also usually like flat bill, flex fit. But jocks have friends with other jocks, and skaters have friends with other skaters. But so what? Alright. So what if someone dresses different? If you look at someone on the street and you see them all raggedy, that's not necessarily their fault, because they grew up to be like that. They can't really change. They might not have the money to get better clothes. They might not be able to do what you're able to do in this life because you were more successful than they were. So what if someone speaks different? If someone speaks different, that's just how they communicate different. It's like we grew up learning English, right? We grew up around in America, maybe. I don't know where you guys grew up, but just by growing up around English literature, you're able to learn that language, and that's how we communicate. But we are making fun of other people because that's how they communicate, and that's how they learn to grow up. So what if someone has different skin color? Once again, they were born like that. They can't change that fact. They can't do anything about their skin color. But we're sitting here judging people on their skin color. What if they judged us on being white? We would probably just laugh at them, right? But truly, that's just completely wrong for being just judging anybody by their skin color, because that's how they were born. So what if someone plays a sport you don't like? Say they play tennis or soccer. You don't have to make fun of them for playing tennis or soccer, because that's just what they love to do, maybe, you know? That's maybe what their parents are making them do. It's not, you know, you can't make fun of someone just for doing something they love or are getting made to do. Service learning, church and school. I did a few church services in school. For church, I cleaned up the church a little bit. I delivered food to the elderly. Put flags out on Flag Day, which is, by the way, my birthday. Raked up leaves and picked up trash on the road with in the community of the church. School, I cleaned up the school, and we had intervention meetings. If you don't know what an intervention meeting, it's pretty much where our class gets together and we talk about if this person gets to stay or go, if they're going to be a hard worker in this class, or if they're worth keeping in this class. But going on to the next slide, self-awareness, team sports I got a C, and counseling, family and personal. Personal strengths and weaknesses. Weaknesses, I'm emotional, and I'm not really good at making new friends because I'm kind of shy, and I get annoyed pretty easy. Some strengths that I have, I'm patient, I'm smart, I'm a hard worker, I'm confident, and I'm emotional. I put emotional on each side because when you look at it, emotional could go both ways. You can get your heart broken and it just feels like someone's just eating the inside out of you. But you can go to strengths and say, you know, I can put myself in that person's shoes and see what he's feeling because he's hurt, because I know that emotion. I know what it's been like. I've been through that. But by being emotional, you know, you could say that. But I don't know. Just those are some strengths and weaknesses that I have. I am a dedicated person who will not get put down by anything that will try and bring me down. So when I'm saying this, I mean, you're going to have to try hard, and I mean hard, to bring me down, because I'm not going to go down without a fight. I am a hard worker. Once again, I don't stop until the job's done. I don't quit until the job's done. I just never back down from anything and never live in regret. So I just, you got to be a hard worker in this life today. I'm an emotional person who cares what other thinks and feel. Once again, I can relate to people on how they're feeling, if they're sad or upset, or you know, if they're having a rough day. I'm able to feel that because I can feel that, or I've been down that road. I know what it feels like. I know that pain. I know they just need some cheering up or something like that. But going on to the next slide, this is my future. So I want to find a job, have a secured employment, start earning money and saving money, so I'm able to move out, you know, get my own apartment, maybe with a roommate or something, split rent with them, be on my own 2 feet, be independent with myself, just be able to start my own life, be done with high school and start college maybe after a semester. But yeah, start going to college, apply for financial aid, apply for all these different colleges that I want to attend, like CSU or CU or Mesa even, and then just get started on the future, so pretty much just getting started on the profession that I want to take in. And graduation. It's pretty much just saying why I want to graduate. I want to graduate because my future, I know it's going to help my future extremely well. Better opportunities, pretty much just what I was saying. You'll be able to get a job easier, you'll be able to, I don't know, just have a better resume than a dropout of high school would. Better future for a family too, you'd be able to put food on the table, you wouldn't have to feel bad for, I don't know, just having kids that aren't able to have clothes because you don't have the money for those clothes and they have to wear smaller clothes or something, I don't know. More knowledge and more experience. By going to college, you're able to learn a lot, I mean extremely a lot, by having the experience, you know, having hands-on experience or just being able to just learn that and know it so you're able to use that experience. And pretty much just having that acknowledged success in life, so. And I would like to thank the following: my family for supporting me and getting me to school on time every day. My teachers for being there and helping me through the hard times and not giving up on me. The administrators for sitting and watching my presentation. Thank you very much for coming and taking the time out of your day. And my friends for supporting me in every which way they can. Any questions? Good job, Adam.